You've probably seen people talk about the Rubi Mining app. Some even claim that each Ruby could be worth $2 one day. Sounds great, right? But is it actually realistic and worth it? I have tested the app myself, and what I found was a bit different from what those many claims suggest. So stay with me because I'll show you exactly how it works in this video and share my honest thoughts after trying it, so you know exactly what to expect and can find out if this is the right opportunity for you or not. In case you don't know, my name is Mikael and I have tested hundreds of different ways to make money online. And in today's video, I'm reviewing the Rubi Mining app. It's a project several of you have asked about, so I decided to look into it and share my honest test and thoughts about it. I'll show you what the app looks like inside, how the so-called mining process works, and whether there's any real potential behind that $2 Ruby claim. Because while it sounds exciting to mine crypto for free, there are now hundreds of apps making similar promises, and most of them never go anywhere. So let's take an honest look at what Rubi actually offers, how user-friendly it is, and what I personally think about its chances of ever turning into real earnings. So let's start by going over who can join. And you can see on the website it is an app that's available for both Android and iOS devices, and you can download it through your phone. And from what I've been able to find out, it's available in more or less all countries. There might be some countries because of legal restrictions or something like that about crypto where it's not available, but it should be available in many different countries. If you decide to try it, please let me know your country below and if it's available for you or not. But please watch this full video first so you don't just jump there, but are aware exactly what to expect, so you do it with the right expectations if you decide to join. But let me now log in and then we'll take a closer look at what it offers. So once you sign up for Rubi, the first impression might be a bit confusing because the app looks quite polished at first, but it's honestly not clear how everything actually works. But one thing that is clear is when you come in, you can see there is a big mining button here that you need to click, and that's how you need to start earning. And you can then choose different mining pools. Again, it doesn't really describe much about what is the difference between what I choose. So you have to choose one here, and then you can see it just explains the terms a little bit more. Has a disclaimer statement there, so you can read through that again here, so you know exactly what to expect. And then you can see it has actually started mining here. It does this for a day, for 24 hours. It also says here what it estimates there that you would earn per day. So again, we'll talk about this, the value of what you earn and potential value and the claim about the value and all that a little bit later. But this is the basic simple idea. It's like many other mining apps. You just click a button and then you let it run for usually 24 hours. But it's not clear exactly what you are actually mining because there are some references, some places to different asset types, and there's some talks about Ruby blocks. But overall, the system is not very clearly explained, and that's something I really don't like with things like this. I know that it's very simple, it's very basic, but you should still have a chance of understanding what are you actually earning, how can you take it out, when can you take it out, all these different things here. So I, for example, tried to look into it in the FAQ section. You can see there's an FAQ section here on the website. It takes you to the website, whether you actually go on the website or to the FAQ section through the app. You can see there is something wrong, and it has been like that for quite a while. I've tested it over a long period of time and it has had this error the whole time. So this is a huge issue because you will likely have questions. In general, when there's a new earning method, you want to at least have a chance to look into some of the most frequently asked questions, and when that doesn't work, that's just not a great sign. Of course there can be downtimes, things like that on websites, that's fine, but this has been down for quite a while now. Not a great sign, and quite disappointing for me because inside the app itself they are not very good at explaining all the details, and then when the FAQ section also does not work, that's definitely not great and doesn't give a good user experience, and I'm always really looking for and emphasizing on great user experiences. So that's already a small red flag for me, because if a project really wants users to trust it, it should at least have the basic information easily available to find. But overall, you can click and potentially earn, and it takes very little time, as you can see here, but the user friendliness is definitely not great in my opinion. But one of the most important things is, of course, how much can you then earn. So let's talk about that next. So another place inside the app, there is actually some information. You can see here, if you go to the explore section, then there is actually kind of an FAQ, very, very short, but here there is at least some information, so that's at least good. But you can see here it says, is $2 per Ruby possible? Because you can see you earn almost one per day. It says to me that I'm earning almost $4 a day just by clicking one, so that sounds good. And then there's from the supposed founder here a lot of information about this, talking about that this is the hope that it could become worth that, and you can read this and make your own decision, of course, also based on that. But he does say that it would probably not be less than $2 here, but he explains a lot of details about this. I don't think it's a great article, but I do appreciate that they do try to explain this, because there are some claims about that. But it's just very important to understand that this is not guaranteed in any way. It's just a speculative idea, and in my opinion it is probably quite unlikely. Again, I'm not saying that it will never happen or anything. This is just my personal opinion. If you have a different opinion, if you have some different knowledge, inside knowledge, or anything like that that proves me wrong, please share it in the comment below. I'm open to hear your thoughts on this also. This is just my opinion based on my experiences after having tested hundreds of different ways to make money online. But currently there's no real clear proof that the token has actually launched or is being traded anywhere. Again, it's very hard to get clear info about this, especially because most of the FAQ section is not working. So right now what you are doing is essentially collecting digital points, you can say, that might have value someday. It's similar to what you have likely seen and what I have talked about before with other phone mining apps. But if you've been around this space for a while, you know that most of these projects never really get that far. A few, like for example the Pi network, eventually actually launched a real token, but even that didn't lead to huge earnings for most users. And in addition to that, I looked into who is behind on the website and the team page there, and the pictures look almost, I am, be careful what I say, of course I can't say it's AI pictures, they just look very polished, but that can also just be nice photoshopping, I can't say. But one thing that is strange, you can see, you can hover over here, but down here in the corner you see it's just the main website, all the socials you can't actually verify. For example, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Facebook or X, the same with all of the other employees here. There's just currently names and titles. There is actually no socials, and I actually tried to search for the names, but it's quite common names, so I couldn't actually find for example the LinkedIn profile. So that's just something I look into. I'm not saying they're not real, I'm not saying that it's something that's a complete deal breaker. I'm just looking into all these things to get an impression about whether it's something I wanna invest my time in, even though it's not a lot of time. And my first impression of Ruby is that it's an interesting concept, but it's not very user friendly, it's not transparent enough in my opinion, and is definitely not something that I would count on as a real income source anytime soon. So to sum it all up, Rubi Mining app can be something you can consider. As you can see, it takes very little time. Who knows, maybe it will become very valuable one day. It's up to you whether you find it worth it or not. You might have to wait a long time. I cannot guarantee that. Maybe I'm completely mistaken. Maybe it will soon have a huge value, and if you decide to use it, I really hope that for you, of course. Personally, I just know that there are so many of these free mining apps, so you have to be selective, because it's just not practical to have like 50 or hundreds of them installed on your phone, even though theoretically you probably could, and just take a few seconds to click each of them every day. But personally, that's not something that I would do. I choose a few, but the problem is that you just never know which one might end up giving you actually earnings, and even the free mining apps that will end up giving you earnings are usually not giving a lot. Pi network, for example, is one that turned out to be legit, and they eventually also launched the token, but the earnings have definitely not been great for most. If you have used Pi yourself, also please share your earnings below. How long did you use it? How often did you click, and how much have you actually earned from it? But overall, you can use it, but you really need to do it with the right expectations. I have a few of these free mining apps I use, and I can of course not say if I have chosen correctly. I've just looked at everything, and then I've chosen a few that I just click every day, and then I hope that I have chosen correctly. And a few of the ones that I am using there are already actually paying in a crypto that is launched, and those ones are of course great because you know that you are actually getting paid already there, while there are some like Ruby, for example, that are more speculative. But I do have a list of my top recommended free mining apps on my website. I'll leave a link to that below, but please keep in mind that there's no guarantee for some of them already do pay, but the speculative ones, there's no guarantee if they will end up actually becoming valuable, so do it with the right expectations. And if you're just after earning one of the most popular cryptos, Bitcoin, then I have also tested a ton of different free ways where you can do that, where they are currently actually offering different tasks where you can get paid in Bitcoin. I'll leave a link below also to a list I have of the best free ways to earn Bitcoin. So if you're interested in that, you can also check that out. And overall, if this video helped you, I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button, because it can help it to be seen by more people, and I would definitely appreciate that support. And also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.